First, you need to prepare all the equipment that's been used in processing of the contact printing. First step, Enlarger. An enlarger lens projects and focuses the image onto an easel that accommodates various sizes of photographic paper. Turn on the lights of the enlarger, then focus the exact light of enlarger to the image that can be shined on it. Step 2. Lens aperture and timer. Set the lens aperture in the enlarger time. As a trial exposure, set the enlarger lens aperture to f11 and the timer into 3 seconds. Do a test in using 3 seconds intervals. Step 3. Test strip. Here you need to identify the emulsion sides of the negative in paper. A test strip is used to determine the correct exposure of a print. Several exposures are made onto the same sheet of paper. This is the only really reliable way to establish exposure. When this is developed, it is easier to see the correct exposure for the print. Step 4. Paper negatives. In this time, you will need a desk lamp, stopwatch, or timer, photo paper, perspex square. Because in step 4, we have 4 layers that we need to insert. We have a glass, negatives, paper, and base. First, put the sheet on the box in a lamp flat surface. Second, place your negative face down on the top of it. And last, put the sheet or glass in on top of it. Step 5. Black paper. Take a piece of card or black paper and cover the 1 centimeters in the first box. Turn on the lamp and after 2 seconds move the cards to reveal another 1-2 centimeters in the first box. Repeat the steps every 2 seconds until all the first box and the papers revealed. The last step, process in exactly way before and then examine in the normal light. Hopefully, one of the steps should be locked on the proper mix in lights and dark to make a good black and white print. Note the time and lastly, choose the strip that looks best and note how long that strip was exposed. Too light, increase the exposure time. Too dark, reduce the exposure time. First step in photo enlarging. Place your negative in an enlarger carrier. The enlarger carrier is a plastic tray that slides out of the enlarger. To put your negative in it, open up the tray and insert the negative into it so the image you want to enlarge is lined up with the square hole in the tray. Then close the tray and slide the carrier back into the enlarger. Step 2. Clamp the enlarger down over the carrier. Clamp down the enlarger will seal the negative inside of the enlarger carrier. The right way to clamp down the enlarger will depend on the photo enlarger you're using, but there's usually a switch or lever on the sides of it, the device that you're supposed to pull or turn. Step 3. Position a sheet of scrap paper on the projection plane. The projection plane is a flat frame that holds the paper you'll be projecting onto. Lift up the top layer of the frame and insert the scrap piece of paper before closing it again. Then place the frame back down on the base of the enlarger. Step 4. Turn off the lights in the dark room. Turning the lights off will make it easier to see your image projected on the piece of scrap paper. It's also important that you turn the lights off since you'll be working with actual photo paper later on. If the lights are on when you remove the photo paper from the packaging, it will be ruined. Step 5. Turn the enlarger on using the timer. The timer is the small box that's connected to the enlarger by a cord. To turn the enlarger on, locate on the switch on the timer and flip it. After you flip it, the display on the timer should light up. Then press the outlet focus to turn the light bulb inside the enlarger on. 6. Adjust the height of the enlarger until the image fits on the scrap paper. There should be a knob on the enlarger near the back or on the side that allows you to raise and lower it. When you raise or the enlarger, the projected image will get bigger, and when you lower the enlarger, the image will get smaller. Step 7. Focus the image using the knob on the side of the enlarger. When you first enlarge a negative, it will likely be out of focus. To fix that, turn the knob clockwise or counterclockwise until the image look clear and crisp. If the image gets blurrier when you adjust the focus, turn the knob in the opposite direction. The last step, number 8. Set the aperture on the enlarger to f8 for the most photographs. The aperture settings determines how the wide the lens opening on the enlarger is. The higher the aperture, the wider the lens and the more light that passes through. The more light that passes through, the brighter your image will be. The adjust aperture, rotate the lens on the enlarger until you get the f8. The right aperture setting can vary depending on the image you're printing, but generally f8 is a good place to start.